All right, so this is a review of my Skinny Guy camper. This is the 6.5 model. I bought the base model and I added a few options to it. So if you have looked at these at all yet, you'll notice that they offer two packages. They offer the base and they offer what they call the kit and caboodle. We're gonna wait for a car to go by here. So for my purposes here, the kit and caboodle was not quite what I wanted because the kit and caboodle took up a lot of bed space. It did offer some nice features though. So I wanted to show you what I did to mine and why these things are way more awesome than their advertising brochures make them out to be. Because once I got it, I started to realize it's exactly all the capabilities I had with this unit. So first off, let's look under the bed. Let's see if I got any light down here. So hopefully you can see here that here's my bed rails, and here's my bed rails in my hand. There we go. And we're down about 1.5 inches into the bed rail. So you still have 1.5 inches of space above the bottom of your bed until you get to the Skinny Guy. So you're not losing much. And this allowed me to be able to haul a lot of my stuff with me. Which, if you have the kit and caboodle has onboard water tanks for black water and clean water, as well as a macerating toilet that flushes and grinds up all your waste. That's a really cool idea, but it came down to here in the bed, so you ended up losing half of your space of your bed. Now the cool thing is that if you don't use your bed for a lot of stuff and you have the deck system, they actually built it to work with the deck. So you can have the deck drawer system inside of your bed, have that access to pull in and out of drawers, and have the rest of it taken up with the Skinny Guy. However, I don't do that. I haul random things, so I did not want to do that system in mine. But there was a few amenities that I wanted that the kit and caboodle offered that the base model did not. First off, the base model I don't believe comes with a furnace. I know it doesn't come with a cook stove. So normally they sell these with a propane furnace as well as a propane cook stove in the kit and caboodle model. Being in the middle of nowhere out in the mountains, filling up a propane tank might be kind of difficult to find. But if you got a gas station, there's a good chance you have diesel. So I wanted the diesel version of their Truma Combi heater that they offer. This is a whitelisted option. They don't have it in their brochure, but they can source it and supply it. And the nice thing about that is I can fill up diesel pretty much anywhere. So I never have to worry about running out of hot water or heat if I have the water tank with me. And jumping back down below, I have a 50-gallon water tank that sits against the back of the bed in the warmer climate. Right now I'm in the middle of winter, so I do not have the water tank installed. But had it been a warmer climate, I would have a 50-gallon tank above there that I plumbed myself into the Skinny Guy. So it's nice to be able to have hot water for showers, for washing dishes. It's not the shower you'd have at home by any means. You can't run that much water through it. You're going to be out of water really fast, but it's much nicer than having a cold shower or even a solar shower. So the next thing I did, since I don't have the standard furnace that they have, is that I did get the cook set that they have with it, which is a module that plugs in up top and gives you a single burner stove and a single basin sink. Very tiny, but effective. Well, that runs off propane for the burner. So I got two of these little 5-pound tanks. What's nice about this is that when one tank runs low and runs out, I can switch to the other tank, and then I know I have to get the other tank filled up at some point. So I'm not just with one tank where I'm left stranded without any source of cooktop for a burner. So all that's in here. As you can see, I have some wiring that I ran that comes down, and I ran some 4-gauge wire from the battery back here as well, so that I had a way to do charging off of the alternator when the alternator is running. And I'll get into those electronics inside. So let's step up here and I'll show you what I did at the top of this thing. So they offer a solar panel that sits in between the width of these two track systems. I needed more power than that they offered from their option. So what I did is I got a 400 watt panel, and I have made it so that I can actually carry 2 of these. Now it is facing up. When I don't have the ski rack on here, when it's the summertime again, it actually gets decent sun. But even in the wintertime, we don't get a whole lot of sun in the northern latitudes. So without the ski rack on here and nothing obscuring the panel, that 400 watts generates about 70 to 90 watts a day total. Not a whole lot. But this is the reason why I'm not relying upon the solar panel in this unit to charge. I have a charge controller off of the alternator. The solar panels, and I carry 2 of them on here, are so when I'm at some place where I'm going to be for a bit, I take them off of the quick releases I have here, take them down, and pop them up along the side of the vehicle to catch sun. 2 400 watt panels. I've got a maximum of 760 watts generated out of those per hour. So it's pretty effective to run anything I need. Starlink, my laptops, I can work remotely anywhere, as well as like a fridge freezer combo that I have here as well, which, go back down here and look, I added a plug right there that comes off of the battery unit inside of the skinny guy for that. Otherwise, yeah, during the summer, these bars are not up here. I take those down, and then as I'm not carrying skis in the summer, obviously, then the solar panels have full sun when it's parked as well if I don't have everything deployed. But as you can see, I made mounts for this pretty easy. Made mounts for the loud car going by. Made mounts for the tracks here as well, since Yakima's T-track adapter assumes that there's a track on top, not on the side, so I had to do a 90 to be able to mount that up there. All right, so let's deploy this and show you what it looks like on the inside. Okay, so to deploy it's pretty simple. You just pop these latches. I'm going to leave this one here and latched, so that when I come around from the other side, I have something that's restraining it still so it doesn't pop open. Now the gas struts that they include with this from the factory are meant for the weight of just the top itself, not with the solar panels, not with the running boards up there. So it's a little bit of an effort for me to actually get this to flip open and deploy, but I'm okay with that. Maybe at some point I'll upgrade the struts on here so they can take more load. But I worry that if I did that and I didn't have a solar panel up there, I would never be able to get it shut. All right, so everything's there. And now we just lift this up. Like I said, this is a lot of weight with the panel and the boards up there. Whoops, I did forget that I cannot deploy this with the gas cans on the back of the board. All right, let me get these down real quick. All right, now I can lower it the rest of the way. There we go. Now you can just leave this hang or you can take it off. Doesn't really matter. All right, still got audio recording. So now the door comes down. I'm gonna put that in the bed. And then another upgraded option I took was the option for a ladder, or stairs I mean, rather than a ladder. And I did stairs because I really wanted a way for my dog to get up and down into the skinny guy. And the ladder itself is too tall and narrow for him to do that. All right, so we just get in here, slide that up. There's another locker over here. Slide that up. And then you would come through here and button up all these buttons. I'm only going to button a few, not all of them. Probably that one, and then the very bottom. And same with this guy here. We'll do that one. And the very bottom. All right. We still recording? Yep, okay, so there is a deployed skinny guy camper. Let's go up top, give you a tour on the inside of what I did to this. All right, and add a little light. We'll also add the light up here as well. So let me put this back here. There we go, all right. So it looks fairly spacious, and it's not bad. They definitely did a good design with the layouts here. So it is almost a vinyl impregnated canvas. I've been in some really heavy rains already, and surprisingly did pretty good. This inside's got moist, but they never dripped. So this is the kitchen module that is not part of the normal unit if you buy the base model. I had them add this. And you just take the base, the kitchen module here, pick it up, place it here. There is, got the camera. There is a set screw right here. Take that out, screw it into that little hole there. That way this won't tip and fall on anybody. And then you can see here there's hot and cold lines. Here's your gas line. Thermostat control for the furnace. That's a safety device. That way, if that's not plugged in, you can't accidentally have the furnace turn on, because it could be bad if the furnace turned on if it was collapsed. And then up here, here's a little single burner sink and stove. The drain for this is actually a pipe that runs through here and goes to an outside plug on the outside wall. And you can hook a garden hose onto that. You can have it either empty on the ground if you're in a spot where that's legal, or you have it go into like a 5-gallon bucket that you can dispose of later. Down here, it came with a little USB charger and a voltage reader, which is nice to know what the voltage is of the battery inside of here if you don't add other things to it, which I have. I also added some power pole plugs. I use those a lot for many different things. Got into ham radio, learned about those, and then those have been a power connector I use for a lot of different things. There's also a cigarette lighter adapter that they added from the factory. And then get down here, what I added all the plumbing work. So I have a pressure tank, all the valve and plumbing for the Truma, and plumbing for the water, plumbing down in the bottom for the freshwater tank, and then electrical connectors here to run not only the water pump, but also the power for the power poles I added. This side here is storage, so there's nothing really in there. There's the vent drain that runs down there, and then there's some more storage over here in the corner. So let's get into what's kind of cool here. This is the Truma Combi heater. This thing is incredibly efficient. I have been able to be in 4-degree weather and have the diesel heater keep this area anyways of the skinny guy at about 70 degrees without a problem. It'll actually cycle on and off into its low power consumption even at that temperature. Back there in the bed area though, since it's hanging over the edge and it's metal, it's a lot cooler. We've actually had ice on the very far corner of that in 4-degree weather, even though the cab area up here was 70. But you're in a sleeping bag, it's not bad. It's definitely way better or way warmer than a tent, but you're not having to deal with packing in and packing out a tent. One of the things when I was looking at this camper here was that I'm not an RV person. I never wanted to be an RV person. I think RVs are annoying. They take up way too much space. They're a pain to travel around with. So I looked at this unit and I looked at a 4-wheel camper and I wanted to see if I could build either one of those out. I'm really glad I went with this because the 4-wheel camper, although it has a lot more space, there's a lot more things that you can add to it and do with it. The one thing you can't do is go most places with it as you can with a normal pickup truck with this thing in it. This thing here basically is a shell topper for a truck. It takes up no more space than that. So narrower trails where it might be considered if you're top heavy, getting into, as they like to advertise, parking garages, but there's lower areas in general. This you can do it, but a 4-wheel camper, everyone knows you have a camper on that truck. Not everyone knows what this thing is going down the road. So let's get into what I added to this, since this is a very customizable unit, and I really appreciate that fact. I added my own battery system here. So this is a 155 amp hour AGM. I went with AGM and not lithium because I'm in a lot of cold places. 4 degrees last month. It was 19 today. Lithiums don't charge below freezing. You have to have a battery warmer to charge them, or you gotta wait till the ambient temperature gets warm enough for it. I didn't want to deal with that. So the AGM, even though it's a lot heavier, serves the purposes that I have for cold weather equipment. On the other side here, and this is very, very tight in here, so it is not the prettiest wiring, but it works. I went with Victron equipment. So I have a Victron Lynx distributor, and basically that's just a huge bus bar. I don't use the fuse circuit sensing circuitry inside of it to actually tell you which fuses are blown. There are fuses in it, but I don't have the monitoring hooked up for it. But I use a Lynx distributor for all the wires in and out, from the battery, from the solar, etc. I have the shunt so I can get a good read on my battery and how much juice is left inside of it. Here I have the Orion charge controller. This is a DC to DC charger, so I can charge off of the alternator, and I can program that so it knows when the battery, or sorry, when the truck is running, when the truck is not running, also how much current to put into the battery, as well as any parameters that the manufacturer might have for the battery as well, to make sure that you're optimally charging it and not prematurely ending the life of your battery. So that's extremely helpful. There's a big cutoff switch down there at the very bottom. Kind of hard to see. And then there's the battery monitor system. They make it so you can mount it. I didn't feel like cutting through the aluminum plate here and mounting that. And it's all Bluetooth. So there was really no reason to have to mount that so I could see it out here. There's a good chance my phone's going to be on me, and I can just look at the details on the phone, which is far more than just an LCD readout there on that device. And then in here, there's some storage. I have a small little 300 watt sine wave inverter for charging laptops and such that don't use USB-C. Sadly, I do have some of those things still. But I have that in here. Here's the charge controller for the solar. This is a pretty big unit. It can do 70 amps. It's overkill for the 2 panels I have on the roof, but the price wasn't too much different from that from a smaller unit, and I do have some headroom in case I ever wanted to get more efficient panels or more panels. I don't really see that. 800 watts is plenty. I have a little DC cigarette lighter adapter fan that I can plug in here to get some circulation going. And then this is all wires to be able to deploy the solar panels on the ground off the top of the unit itself. We go over here, standard cushions. I got some coat hangers so I can make use of some of the wires up here to hang stuff up, so it can help dry out in the winter. And then it comes with a porta potty. And over there is where your shower hookup is at. And then the last thing I have is this table, which the table slides into this little mount here, and then it's a swivel table, so it can go and make it convenient to run a laptop and actually work in this thing. So with the cushions and the table there, it's actually pretty comfortable to be in here and work. There's no backrest, so you can't lean back, unfortunately, but it's not bad. The last thing I had customized for mine, which I don't know if it's going to be possible in the future to do this or not, they did oblige me and added this to my unit, is in the back windows here, I had them do a clear vinyl window on the inside as well. That way I could let light in, you could look out, but you're not letting all the warm air out that might be inside the camper itself. The front window, both of those there are the screen windows. So if you have those open, you are letting heat out. But I wanted to be able to see out, especially my dog. He likes to look out when he's laying back here on the bed. And then this is covered in their own instruction manuals, but this is all strapped down so that the mattress, when it folds in, doesn't fall off the top. So you would unclip these and fold this out to actually use the mattress. The mattress works well for sleeping myself, my wife, and our dog. It won't fit any more than that. The back side of this has a 600-pound rating from the manufacturer. So we're well underweight for that, but this is not enough space for anybody else back there. How we accommodate sleeping with my daughter here too when we go places is that this spot here is about 6 foot long. So I have a 1/4 inch piece of plywood that is cut to be right along the width of this and goes all the way up to the front. So that gives her about 20 inches of space there, which on a sleeping mat for camping, that's 19 inches. The average adult male is 19 inches wide. So that works perfect for her feet to be here, her head and her shoulders to be up here. And she is on top of the plywood, a insulated foam mat, and usually an inflatable mat as well. So it's just like tent camping for her. She's sleeping on the same type of surface, except for it's completely flat, unlike the ground where you're going to have dirt and rocks and twigs underneath you too. So she gets a good night's sleep there. We get a good night's sleep here. And I think one of the coolest things about this camper is that, you know, I can look out here, I can see winter. I just did a backpacking trip with my dog on this channel. You'll probably see that video too. But the advantage of having this unit versus doing everything from a tent is that we get to go do more fun activities in the winter that don't revolve around backpacking or tent camping. We have been cross-country skiing a lot. We've done some snowshoeing, and those are things that would just be really difficult to do if we had to do everything out of a tent. This allows us to have kind of a base station wherever we can park, we can launch and do those activities and then come back someplace warm to cook meals, etc. So this is my skinny guy. Hopefully this was a good tour. I hope you guys liked it. I hear people pulling into the parking lot here at this trailhead, so I'm going to wrap this video and put all the stuff away. But thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you found this educational and informational, and get a hold of Skinny Guy Campers. Check out their lineup. They have a lot more stuff than just the 6.5 model, but this has been way more opening as far as activities go, getting this and using this unit versus a pull behind camper. And I'm glad I got this. So till then, have a great day.